for today, because once it's all done in a week's time, you're going to love all the extra content we got, okay? This will be the last one for the day, and then we'll start to recap everything. All right, so, as I stated before, your only job is to not solve it.
Okay.
Everything else is up for grabs.
Organised?
As organised as we get.
What's happening?
What's happening? Okay. I used to have a needle phobia, which still exists, like a needle phobia.
Yep.
Okay, so I've kind of theorized myself.
You can use that word.
So, yes, I can. I've theorized myself where I can be around needles, give a person an injection, do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that last little bit that every time I talk about needles, I feel warm, I feel, like it's still there. And when I need to get it, I still, it's in the back that's all of those anxious feelings still exist, even though I've gone through, I've done it. I've therapized myself very harshly so that perhaps I've overcome it, but I know in here it's still there. And it's not slowing me a bit down, but I don't want to keep feeling that way, because it's only a needle, right?
That's right.
Different investment of emotion.
Yeah.
See, you can contrast the difference. Okay?
This
I'm actually glad this came up.
Yeah.
Okay? Save the best till last.
It's only a little problem.
Yes.
So what is that problem?
I suppose the mental anxiety that takes place when the needle, when I'm in the presence of needle, if I need to get one, if I need to give one, yeah.
And how does that make you feel?
Oh, I'm anxious. I'm not 100%. I'm not the confident, happy, just full of let's go sort of person. It slows me down. I feel it's like somebody just tied an anchor, metaphor.
Tied an anchor, right?
Yeah, it's like there's some hot sweats. It's just.
So you're thinking that it ties an anchor?
Yeah, it slows me down. It's I know it's a needle. I now can have it, whereas run away from it. I can do everything with it. So I really shouldn't feel the way I feel. But I still feel.
But you still feel.
So I want to get rid of that feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of that feeling altogether?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with the needles, yes, I want to get rid of that feeling altogether.
So how could you do that?
Back one question up. So now we're asking for a solution. He's not there. No, don't be sorry. Not there yet. I'm going to task you to do as much with that metaphor that he gave you as you can to therapize him, as he said.
Mm-hmm. So when you use the needles, do you therapize?
Where when I use the needles? Anywhere.
So how do you therapize when you're thinking about needles?
I suppose the therapize part was when that now that I can be around needles, I can pull it out, I can do everything with it. Like in the past, you put a needle here. You and I won't be having this conversation, right? You ask me to put it in my hands, I'll be on the floor. Now, I could grab that needle and with a lot of hesitation, jab it with a lot of hesitation. Even though I know it's safe and all of that, or if Scott needs a needle.
Thank you. But I'm good for now.
So, yeah. So it's just, there's that still.
Some water, please.
There's that still that tightness that oh, it's a needle. I mean, just talking about it, I feel it. As much as I know physically I'm able to do all of it now, the feeling still exists. And there is nothing in there that needs to keep protecting me, because I feel like that's okay, done. It's done.
So you're therapizing yourself.
Good question.
Maybe.
Thank you.
You are therapizing yourself.
I keep doing it. Yeah, I keep therapizing myself.
What are you curious about?
So, what about your therapizing with your needles? Do you not do?
Nothing.
Nothing? Sure about that?
Pretty sure.
Really?
Yep.
So what do you want to ask him that you're not sure you should? Doing a good job. Got him somewhere. He stopped him talking at least. You could see how that description of having the needle could keep going on because he's emotionally invested in it. So, okay.
So I'm here.
Yep. I have a burning sensation inside of me. There's got to be something with that anchor you could use.
Yeah.
When constructing metaphors in your head, you've got to think, well, what is an anchor for? What does it do? What does it not do? Why do people have anchors? Why do ships have anchors? Why do people get anchored tattoos? I don't have them, but why do people do it? Knowing that, he also pointed to his head and said, there's nothing up here that needs my protection, that has to be protecting. He gave me another metaphor. It was quick. He even pointed to it. Do you want to give you an example? So if there's nothing up there that needs to protect you, why not pull up the anchor?
I suppose I've tried, and to some extent, I've moved on.
So to what
That
extent
Yeah.
have you left the anchor down? To what extent?
Obviously, the last little bit, probably.
Just in case the ship goes somewhere it shouldn't, right?
Yes.
That's what anchors are for.
Yeah.
So what have we just implied?
That he hasn't gone all the way.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
There's something holding him back.
Mm-hmm. Why does a ship have an anchor? What's its purpose?
To keep itself stable, safe, when need to be stable and safe.
Stable and safe. When? When you need to be safe. And is that all the time?
No, definitely not.
So a ship can be stable
And
without
safe.
having the anchor down?
100%.
100%?
You're on the right track.
So why not move the anchor?
Indeed. Why not?
See how much more of an impact that has when you talk his language? Have you ever seen an anchor being dropped from a ship before? It takes more than one person, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite an arduous task.
Yes.
But do you realise that anchors don't just keep ships safe? Do you know what else they do? They stop things from moving too quickly.
Yeah.
They keep things stable. So I guess all those times you felt unsafe or stable, it's anchors down. So clarify me if I'm wrong, you're here today to find out all the other ways you can be safe and stable without the anchor impeding you.
Around the needle, yeah.
Around the needle. Around the needle. Like a compass, right? Has certain directions, and when followed correctly, things get discovered. That's how land was discovered. That's why ships rely on them, just like they rely on an anchor. It points to things. It points to things. But also, a good crew on a ship doesn't rely wholeheartedly on a compass. They have it there just in case. And they use the anchor just to be sure. How can new discoveries be made when you're so fixated on the point? Instead of all the other things you missed while not focusing on the land. Anchors away. So I really wonder, and Phil's wondering as well, what does all this have to do with anything? Knowing that there's nothing in your head that needs to protect you outside of what the anchor does already. There's only so many ways a needle of a compass can point.
Feel better.
You feel better?
There's
Did you
still
see-
some niggling.
See what happened then? See that
Looking in.
integration process? That's a very visual integration process. Okay. Means some sort of change. It's happening. But like I said, there's still a little bit of a niggle. It's like the anchor's dragging just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite stopped the ship.
It's like a little pinch.
like a little pinch.
Yeah.
Please
Some
use that
long
metaphor.
lasting little pinch.
So where is that little pinch stopping you from pulling the anchor finally in?
Nice.
Don't know. Confused.
Repeat it.
So where is that little pinch that's stopping you from pulling the anchor finally in?
Because you know at any time you can just drop anchor again. Doesn't have to stay up consistently. At least let the crew paint it, make it look good before it goes back in. So close. Do it properly. All the way. That's better. All the way. Drop it all the way. And pick it back up. It's yours. Just call on the crew. You have a captain. You have a navigator. You have crew members. You have a ship of resources that's dictated and dedicated to where the needle points. For new discoveries, that is. It was Columbus who said it best. What do you think just happened then with that body jolt?
The next bit of integration.
What did it seem like just happened?
Like stuck yourself in the middle.
There's something was just hallucinating that last little bit. You when you get a needle, you get that little fright from it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now?
Feels better. Still something there. It's that last little tip of that bloody needle.
Are you curious about why he keeps favouring that leg?
The right leg. So where's it?
No, because that's the one pointed forward. And
Right.
closest.
Like a compass, right?
Like a compass, yeah. It's there close.
It's there close. Lands close. Last little bit. So I guess all the things you've done up to this point to get rid of the majority, you now just have to get rid of the minority, wouldn't you say? Pick the right crew member to lift the anchor without fuss. All of it this time. You don't just pull an anchor up halfway. It has to come all the way up. Because if you don't, when you release it again, it doesn't have the force to make it to the bottom. You want to be safe and secure. You wouldn't let an anchor out halfway. You'd get the crew to do it properly. You would feel the ship jerk when the anchor takes hold. How could a piece of metal stop tons and tons of metal when pointed in the right direction? That's what crew need, to be pointed in the right direction. That's what a compass needs, to be pointed in the right direction to whatever's closest. But there's versatility in people. Crew members can do more than one job. So task them to do something different, to get the last little bit. Get it all. Lift it all the way up. You know when it does, it makes a certain clanking sound, like chains on a deck. Now, as the therapist, do you have any idea what the whole ship thing means to him?
No.
Neither do I. That's what makes it easy for us to tell just any old story about anything. He's giving us all the details, we're just putting it all together for him. Take it away.
So how is it now? About everything that we've spoken about.
Do you have any idea why he just went back in? Do you see what he did differently with his hand? Before it was here,
Yeah.
now it's
Opened it, looked at it.
for a
closed it.
split second. Now, what's probably happening, piecing it all together. So what's happening when you stare at the needle?
It's just looks like a needle now. That's it. It's not. I don't feel the hot sweats, the anxiety at the moment.
I can tell. At the moment, though. So what about when it's not this moment?
I don't know. I suppose I need a needle to find out.
Yeah. Could we borrow that, please?
No, that would be okay. Oh, okay. A pin?
Anyone got a pin? That's needle-like.
I've got a pen. I've got needle.
I'd prefer a pen. It's your game. I'm game.
Okay. I'm going. Hey, I'm here to finish that last little bit of.
It's funny, I just emptied a whole lot of needles out of my car last night when I got
Yeah, I'm good.
Talk to him about it. Just don't rush him with it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm good. I normally don't, this distance won't have an issue. It's almost when it's like literally here.
so now you have his permission. Please come forward. Let him do what he needs to do.
Does it need it?
That's a used one. That's an unused one.
Interesting. I'm not seeing it.
You're about to. Now, don't rush into this by any means.
No,
You do this
I'm
in your own
good,
speed,
I'm good.
but you know we're going to look after you anyway.
Feel a lot better. Yeah.
Put your hand up. Just wait for him.
Good.
Sure?
Yeah.
Sharp. It's clean though, you know that.
Yeah.
Happy on your hand?
Yes.
Just lay it on there. Flat, please. Not.
That's got stuck at the other end of the needle. Just
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to test it all the way.
No insulin shot.
So what's happening?
Actually, interestingly, nothing. I can almost smell the meds.
I mean the positive stuff.
No, I can smell the medication.
The positive stuff.
Yeah.
What does the needle actually do for you?
It's insulin.
What does insulin do for you?
Well, I've got type 2 diabetes.
It helps, right?
Yeah.
Helps my dad.
Yes, it does.
Medication
It
does
help.
have a strong smell. You'd know this with your background and your
No,
family's
it's-
background.
No, needle's there to help. Definitely.
Sure. Even if it's a really sharp one. Have you seen those ones they give horses?
Yes, I am.
It's huge. Probably seen the ones they give dogs.
They're pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
They do the same thing too.
Yeah. Geez, and I feel it for the dog, and the dog looks at me like, hurry up.
Yeah. I can tell.
The dog just goes, hurry up, get it done and over with. How long do I stay still?
This is important. See how he can distract himself now but still hold it? Whereas before, he would have had that in his hand and been like mesmerised by it. So you good?
Good.
Thank you. So,
Yeah, before, if I knew that I can't focus on a needle behind me,
yep.
and it's got nothing to do with the person behind me, it's more the fact that there's a needle behind me and I have no control.
Sure. So you realise this as well. Needles are for one purpose only. To help cure. Doesn't mean you've got to go out, be a hypochondriac and cure yourself with needles.
Oh, no, of course not.
Okay? Doesn't mean you need to go home and see how many needles you can get into your right leg. Okay? You know they're for a reason now, right?
Yes.
They serve a purpose for you. They serve a purpose for your business. Because if all dogs were sick and didn't have needles, you wouldn't have a business.
Yes.
It's definitely helped your family, being doctors.
Yes.
You sure?
Definitely.
It's
Yeah,
sharp though.
it's meant to be sharp.
Meant to be sharp. Just like an anchor's meant to be heavy. What do you think needs to happen?
He's been rechecked.
Big man,
He's been rechecked. He's been tested.
any thoughts? Well, I would say that's probably demarcated him anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you think needs to happen now?
How do you feel?
Yeah?
You've done that, you've held the needles, you've talked about needles.
Good.
So how do you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah. You have a purpose. And
Do you hear the
Past is the past.
Do you hear the common theme he's coming out with now? They have a purpose. Whereas before, what was their purpose? To threaten him. If you would take it like that. Now it's got a purpose. I can smell the meds, I can talk about things, I can distract myself.
But even the big needles, the big 20 gauge needles, you give dogs.
You're a horse trainer. What size are the horse ones you guys do?
20 gauge.
Seriously?
He knows what it is.
Yeah. 20 gauge, yeah.
Oh, you would know, yeah, being a nurse as well.
That's nuts.
Yeah. What do you do when you put in 50 mils into something? Yeah.
But they're not that much worse than the epidural needles. I've seen those.
Yes, what do you think
Yes.
of those? You've seen those. What do you think of
Has
those?
anyone actually had an epidural? Yep.
Had a spinal.
How was that?
Been away from my back.
Ugh.
Pushing it all down.
I've had a
Yeah.
10 gauge needle. Then it's not fun. But it was all right. You can do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Big one?
It's a needle.
It is. In more ways than one. Figuratively and literally.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it takes one to know one, right?
It does. If you see it, you can be it. No, let's not go there. All good?
All good.
Great job. Tao, what do you think needs to happen?
What have I missed? Nothing.
I'm curious. What do you think?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good end to the session. That's it, because we're done.
Yeah.
Give me a handshake. Well done.
Yeah.
Nice way to end the day. Okay.